Good evening, Randomizer fans, and welcome to our wonderful Sunday open match. We have ourselves our weekly race on the restream today. Josh Bittner, Lana Bean, Dr. Earworm, and Forgotten Toupee. My name is Vitasia, and I'm joined today on the mic by Goron1988. How are we doing today, Goron?
Doing good. I'm looking forward to this race as I have many a race before. Hopefully, we'll see some some fun in all of this.
I absolutely think that we're going to have quite a bit of fun. I know there's a lot of runners in this one. I think I want to double check the race room for any last minute, but we have, I think, 26 total entrants in this one. So we got quite the sizable weekly race for this one. So even though we have 4 runners on the restream right now, just know there's 26 total folks in this particular race. We'll keep everyone kind of talking about it as we go through. Standard rules apply for an open weekly. By this time, everyone should know it's open mode, no cross keys, no cross world, no. I mean, it's still randomizer, guys. Like, we're still going to have quite a bit of fun here. It's just going to be a little bit less crazy, a little bit less chaotic, and a whole lot of fun.
Yes, and again, this is open, and because it's open, it means that they don't have to go through Hyrule Castle in the first place, but still, we've got tons of things to look forward to, hopefully, stuff like Icebreaker and Diver Down and all of that, so yeah, looking forward to that.
Absolutely. I know I've tried to shake off a bit of rust myself and start teaching myself those tricks that I constantly am saying I don't need to learn, like Diver Down and Icebreaker, that in today's randomizer racing, yeah, you kind of need to know because it saves so much time. But the opening decision, I'd like to know just real quick how many people are going to start off in Link's house, how many people are going to start off doing the Kakariko run immediately.
3 in Link's, 1 in Sank. Sword was in Link's house.
That's an amazing pickup early on. Your first step is finding a weapon because that just makes things a whole lot easier. Like everything else that's getting ready to be done out here in the traditional escape sequence.
It's surprising how helpful a sword can be. Definitely when it gets to Master Sword. Hitbox is a little bit easier than the hammer, so yeah, and a great pull from the tree there. Those bombs will definitely come in handy.
Bombs for tree pull is amazing, and our uncle is vain. Our uncle is so vain. He probably thinks this rando seed's about him.
Hey, I still want a game with Uncle in it, you know? I mean, as Uncle.
All right, so if you started out in Link's house and went immediately to the escape sequence, you're starting off very well. Lana Bean, our 4th runner on the restream, has not had. She got the tree pull, of course, so has some bombs, but other than that, nothing else really going on there.
The Aghanim tree, that was just 3 bombs, so that means that Aga might be in play, but it's far less likely now. Lana Bean collecting 20 rupees from the tree in Lost Woods. Do you think anybody will try a Houlihan play at this time? So yeah, Josh Mittner, Lana Bean, and Forgotten Toupee and Lost Woods. Dr. Earworm is going through the whole of Hyrule Castle. We'll see if this Divergence pays off. Just a piece of heart in the blue boomerang chest. We'll see if this continues. Lana Bean is in blind tut. 5 checks here. Let's see if anything good's in Kakariko. Oh, and it's the flippers. the Cane of Burner, a Piece of Heart, and the Cane of Somalia. Gosh, this is crazy, but what is the 5th item here? It's just a Piece of Heart. So let's see what's in the bottom of the well. Piece of Hearts. I mean, this seed just seems like it does have a lot. 3 bombs. Yeah. 25. And, oh, gloves! Gloves in bottom of the well. This is a stacked Kakariko. This is absolutely crazy.
You mean Stackarico?
You took the words right out of my mouth.
So, 2 canes, flippers, gloves, everything going on here. We have a little bit of early access. What is this pointing you towards? If you had this loadout coming out of Kakariko, what are you gonna do?
I just don't think that I would possibly have enough. I mean, Dr. Earworm is doing South Shore. I think South Shore is a good play at the moment, really. And then maybe Sahasrara. I now see why. Yes.
Well, here's the interesting part. Okay, so here's Hookshot, half magic. By the way, 300 rupees in case you wanted to loop in Zora as well. Why not?
Just go there. They've got the flippers.
Here's what I'm seeing, though. Like, through all of this, we do have a second sword, by the way, of all of that. But here's what I'm scared about. Second sword. Yes, we have like lots of stuff, but in terms of unlocking the next real stage, which is Dark World access, we only got one piece of the puzzle in terms of the gloves. We still have either another glove upgrade and the Moon Pearl to go, and we are quickly running out of places. This second sword, like if we start getting the lamp pretty soon, I'm going to start worrying about an Agaseed early.
Worrying about an Agaseed? I know I'm commentating right now, so I shouldn't be, I shouldn't be hyping up Agaseed, but I'd like to see an Agaseed.
An Agaseed this loaded, yeah. Oh, Mitts? Where were Mitts?
Back of Escape.
Oh, wow. So logically, ooh. Mitts and a bottle, okay.
Yeah, so logically they can make it to the Dark World, but they need the Moon Pearl, and these checks are still running out.
Still getting there. Again, the last thing you want to see, although maybe not quite the last thing that you want to see right now, but the lamp, because that starts unlocking your access to Ganon's tower, or to Aga 1. Now, the other thing that right now the lamp unlocks is actually access to all of east side of Death Mountain, because we then have the gloves and the lamp to get through that dark room and the hookshot to go across that gap. So,
yeah. Just to see, Forgotten Toupee is going to Desert Palace, whilst Josh Bittner is doing Dark Cross. So we'll see if these specific actions, what points them away from Aga.
All right. And, all right. Agina's Cave, just a big 20. Lana Bean looks like is going to be the first one to go up Death Mountain. Again, this is a sequence break, so what we find up here, I mean, might be instructive as we're going through. Great use of the Cane of Samaria, by the way, just to help her navigate her way through the dark room so she knows at least where she is in the cave.
I mean, if this was, for instance, if there was a lamp in any of the other checks, or a flute, for instance, then it would mean that there would be access to Death Mountain anyways, so it might prove a useful skip.
And that's how you tell if there's going to be something useful. Like if we find the flute or the lamp up here, then we know that there's something within logic that we can get.
And Lana has access to the whole of Death Mountain because she's got the hook shot as well. So, well, not Tower of Hera because no hammer, no mirror, which is a huge difference because she hasn't seen the uncle yet.
Yeah, that's one really kind of hurts. Now, Tower of Hera is going to be some place that I think runners are going to try to avoid if possible, just because it's a pendant. But it's kind of a quick dungeon if you know the Hera skip. So you can get through it pretty quickly. Plus, it's a green pendant, so might be worth it if you happen to know the skips. I'd personally try to avoid it, though.
I mean, Moldorm's in it. Just how many floors have we all fallen down in our lives?
I think at this point, we have Moldorm fights as an unofficial unit of measurement in the rando community.
Okay, so let's see what... So Lana Bean is in Paradox Cave. There are 7 checks here. Let's see what's here. 20 rupees and heart. Toupei's gonna do more in Hyrule Castle. And just to clarify, Dr. Earworm is in Kakariko. Bombs, 20 rupees. Flute!
That's info! Ooh. That's big info!
And Ice Rod.
Alright, so we know the lamp. We should have logical access there. Lamp is our Death Mountain access. I'm gonna make a bet right now that Forgotten Toupei is on the right track and the lamp is somewhere here in the first half of Escape.
I believe Lana Bean... Somebody checked it. I didn't see Zelda's cell, but there was nothing in anything before that. So maybe there's something in Zelda's cell.
Okay.
Can anybody confirm this for me?
I admit I had a bit of an issue, so I did miss something. So if I missed it, oops.
So Lana Bean went off the mountain. Yeah. So that was a choice not to do Super Bunny then?
I don't know if it would have been Super Bunny or Spiral Cave. Super Bunny is in Dark World.
Well, with Mitts, I was just thinking that Super Bunny was a possibility there, although it could take a while, effectively.
Yeah. All right. So going through there, Lana did sold her bee. By the way, that puts Lana over 500 rupees. So we could Zora's in logic at this point. We could get doing those Zora checks right now as well.
Ooh, oh. Mitts cashing in that jar. Sorry, I said boots, didn't I? Well, boots are mitts for your feet. There you go.
Boots. I want everyone to write that down, clip it, do what you need to do. Boots are mitts for your feet. That is a new quote for the community. I want everyone to know.
I don't think I'll be able to talk for the next 20 minutes.
So, Sick Kid does have boots, which is, it's a fantastic pickup. It will let us go fast. Lana with the first one to get those. Remember, in randomizers, it's less about the routing that you choose and more about how you choose it, the difference from your opponent. She is the only one at this point who's even like followed that chain at all. Those boots are going to be a significant difference the longer that she has. And oh, by the way,
yeah, lamp under the bridge. So that was the access to Death Mountain. Also, the 5th crystal is in Skull Woods, and the 6th crystal is vanilla. It's Misery Mire.
Wait, where was Moon Pearl?
Well, wait, what? What?
Yeah, Forgotten Toupee and Dr. Earworm both have the Moon Pearl. I was like, wait, what? Oh, Dark Cross. Dark Cross. Oh, that's mean. That is a mean spot for the Moon Pearl. All right, but that closes our logic loop, so no Aga required as far as we know.
Would there be any issue where Aga would be required? I mean, the woodcutter's tree was 3 bombs, and there's Moonpearl and Mitts. So I'm trying to think logically, would it be necessary?
There would be one point if we didn't have the flippers where Hammer could be behind the Pyramid Fairy. It is the statistically most unlikely thing to happen, but it can logically happen. And I've seen it happen, but we have the flippers, so we have access to the east side of Dark World. So
Lana being going to Desert Palace now. On low health, though, we can only help. Oh, that's going to help her, Blue Mail.
I mean, it's not going to help her right now, but we'll make it work. So Ether is Misery Mire. Have we gotten a map check from any of our runners in the Dark World yet?
Yes, we did, Dr. Earworm. I didn't check all of it. I believe Thieves Town was a pendant. Oh, we've got it now. Turtle Rock was a pendant. And yeah, the 5-6 were Skullwoods and Misery Mire. It's like the runners knew we were talking about it.
Bless runners, thank you. This has been a really incredible open seat up to this point in time. We're only 15 minutes in. We have a ton of stuff. Let's not be, we're very serious about this. There's a ton of stuff that we've already gotten. More than that, we are in 4 completely different locations. I don't know if our runners have ever been in the same location as one another. This is pure chaos, and I'm here for it.
Book and Tower of Hera, and Josh Bittner is now doing Hera part.
All right, so as we're seeing these runners go in entirely different directions, Josh is going to go ahead and try to pick up at least a few of the treasures that are located here. I'm hoping that he doesn't have to go down into that basement. Based on that, I do believe he's going to have to go. Oh, and thank you for everyone over at our Speed Gaming Portuguese channel for rating us over here at Speed Gaming 4. Welcome. You are joining us for our weekly open race for Legend of Zelda Link to the Past Randomizer. You've got to come into a spicy one. Runners are all over the place. They have never been in the same spot after the initial 2 minutes.
And we're seeing a Moldorm fight right now, so perfect timing, really. Let's see if this goes well.
All right, so Josh Bittner through, and we just get a vanilla pot from the thief. So Earworm did do their best to go ahead and try to do that early Smith chain. I like it because it's one of those things that you don't normally do until you're much deeper into the game. But we have access to everything right now.
So Josh Bittner is going back in Tower of Hera. This means there's another item in there, so including this item, cashing in Green Pendant. As much as I've seen, nobody has been in Sahasrara yet, which will be interesting to see.
No one's turned in that green pendant, but Dr. Earworm, by the way, doing just kind of the normal flow of stuff while he's in the area. First one with that hammer. In Hype Cave. By the way, Hype Cave is back, he says prematurely after one race.
Yeah, let's get more hype for Hype Cave. It definitely is all the hype. So now, others might have done this before, but just seeing what was in Zelda's cell chest, it was just 3 bombs. Okay. And Josh Bittner is now doing the second item check, which was just a heart.
If that green pendant turn-in ends up being nothing, then this is going to be a lot of effort that Josh Bittner put in to Tower of Hera for no payoff, because there hasn't been anything else in here.
Okay, so Dr. Earworm is now going into Swamp Palace. Forgotten Toupee has gotten has gotten his boots. Let me see. And Lana Bean has now gotten the Moon Pearl, which means she'll be able to do a lot of Dark World checks now.
Yeah, the problem with Lana Bean having done that dip into Desert Palace, unfortunately, is that no fire source, so can't actually beat the boss, despite that being a crystal dungeon. Meanwhile, we have no crystal dungeons complete yet. Oh, hello. King's Tim with our third sword.
The difference between third sword and second sword is quite a huge one, so that might be able to help Lana Bean and give some time for her.
Oh, chat pointing out M4A2000 does ask why Josh skipped the Ether Tablet. Good point. It has the book, has the Master Sword. Totally could have checked that Ether Tablet. If that ends up being something, ooh, look out. Oh, that's spicy. That was the fire rod located on the floating island that we need to access through Hookshot Cave on Dark Death Mountain. We have the mirror already. Hang on. Okay, so wait, for go mode then it's like we need the bow.
We would need one of the items.
Bow and ether. That's
at least at least Josh Bittner now knows that Fire Rod is on the island. This might have been seen by Lana Bean as well, so they might both know, but as far as we know, Dr. Earworm and Forgotten Toupee are out of the loop on that. So how do you think it will influence everybody's plays going forward? I mean, this would mean that, for instance, Lana Bean and Josh Bittner might not want to dip Desert Palace again. Oh, well, Josh Bittner's got the lamp. But definitely not Skull Woods.
Yeah, so the general logic is, do a bunch of overworld things, and then if you can do a crystal dungeon, do your crystal dungeon. We have so much access right now. The only thing I'm worried about is Dr. Airworm and Forgotten Toupee opting to avoid going to Dark Death Mountain for anything. We happen to know that the Fire Rod is there, and we will need the Fire Rod minimum for Skullwoods. It's a handy item to have regardless. Dr. Earworm, note that is missing a lot of other things. Does not yet have the Ice Rod, which we know where it's at. Does not have, has Tempered Sword, so we're doing all right there. But doesn't have the lamp, doesn't have the flute, has not made a lot of the overworld checks, hasn't even been up on Death Mountain at all. I think plus he has the hammer, so like that's a lot of opportunity there.
So Dr. Earworm has just done Diver Down. That was using the Cane of Samaria in order to trick the player into not being into the swimming state and being able to open those chests there, and of course go through the doorway. And that extra sword will be helping Dr. Earworm a lot because he is now going into Argus.
Argus is interesting. There's a lot of different ways that people can do Argus. Dr. Earworm is doing what I would call the slower but surer way to get through here. Not using poke strats, but taking it nice and slow and easy. It saves, it only takes about 3 or 4 seconds longer than using the poke strats. Does find his final item on Argus, and that's our first crystal complete, folks.
Yep, which is only one part of the hype that is getting to Ganon.
What I'm trying to here's the thing. We are legitimate. We're under 30 minutes right now. We are 2 items away from go mode that we know about. We need a bow, and we need the Ether Medallion. That's it. We have so much knowledge about where everything else is because these runners have covered so much ground because they've spread out everywhere. No one's going to be in go mode, I think, for another 30 minutes or so, just because of all the ground that needs to be covered. But it really is interesting to see kind of where everyone is and how close we are to knowing all the pieces of this puzzle.
Bitna is just facing off against Lammo now. We have a lot of knowledge here. The knowledge that we don't have is more to do with Eastern Palace, Ice Palace, Misery Mire, and Turtle Rock, and Bitna getting his first pennant. So that's definitely very good. So yeah, it's just what's in those areas. There are other checks like Graveyard Ledge, King Zora hasn't been checked, Waterfall hasn't been checked, and Forgotten Toupee has finally gotten the hammer, so that's definitely good. Whew.
Well, we say finally. Dr. Earworm's the only other person to get it. By the way, Dr. Earworm has his 4th sword, by the
way. Well, you got to have butter.
We have buttered frog legs on Dr. Earworm's side. Lana Bean, picking up her hammer right now. Lana, I think, is positioned best in terms of her items and knowing what items are left. And wow, that was rude, Lana. Rude. He gave you a fantastic hammer and you said, nah, bruh, I'm going to bomb you.
Oh, gosh. Just give the NPCs in this game some love, you know? It's not as though, like, they choose their time off, you know?
So, Forgotten Toupee going back into Swamp Palace. It looks like Lana Bean, this is going to be Lana's first attempt even doing Swamp Palace because this treasure chest isn't even opened yet. Josh picking up has the flute, so it was over on Death Mountain there. This is such an interesting race because, again, people are all over the place right now. Dr. Earworm looks like he's doing this. Skip is going up to Death Mountain right now.
And Josh... And Josh Bittner is getting his feet mitts. Yeah, exactly.
Feet mitts. Feet mitts. There it is. Feet mitts. Make it a thing, chat.
Yeah, a little bit of convergence, though, on Swamp Palace.
A little bit. At least two of our runners are here. In the meantime, Josh, our Dr. Earworm, is kind of making some decisions. Like, okay, what do I want to do while I'm up here? Because he can do everything at this point in time. We'll see if he decides to go ahead and do... Okay, going into Tower of Hera. Does not have the book, worth noting, so cannot actually check that tablet. Oh, book is in Hera? Okay, well.
Yeah, just thinking to myself that Dr. Earworm might be the first of our runners to be able to actually get the fire rod if Dr. Earworm does decide to go east from Tower of Hera, and is now doing Hera part. Bittner's getting the bacon sword. And we'll see what's in left side swamp. 10 arrows and...
Oh, looks like we're finally getting this Waterfall and Zora check over here.
What potion do we get? Oh, red, health, and 20 rupees, as well as the 10 arrows. And Dr. Earworm making easy work of Moldorm, getting that key, and picking up the green pendant.
Yeah, this is not a crystal dungeon. I'm legitimately surprised at how many people are picking up this green pendant. I know it's fast. It's very, very fast, but every second counts in random. I don't know.
My mind just thought, okay, everybody's gone to Hera. It's a crystal, right? And doing the check, what's on the tablet? Just 3 bombs. Lana Bean is now doing Argus with Bacon Sword, so should be quite good for her. And Forgotten Toupee is right behind her. Josh Bittner's getting some money from Zora. Was there anything on Zora? I didn't see much.
Nope, just some artisanal bombs, I think. Like, something that we could absolutely have dodged.
Well, I think at this point everybody says Zora is a scam. Bittner's going to be the first to give us the Saha checks.
Well, and here's the problem. Josh does not have the lamp yet, or doesn't have the Moon Pearl yet. We know the Moon Pearl's in Dark Cross. He has all of this stuff without ever having left. So that green pendant is nothing. He hasn't touched the Dark World yet. He's just cleared out the entirety of the Light World.
What do you think the possibility is that one of the bows is in Ganon's tower, and that the other is possibly in a tough location?
Well, I mean, one of the two upgrades are almost always in Ganon's tower. I mean, from my experience. I mean, not always, but I always bet on it. At this point, when we're looking at the different options that are available to us, we haven't seen things like Hookshot or Super Bunny Cave. We haven't even touched what is, in my mind, a very likely spot in the Palace of Darkness, honestly, which does have some restrictions based on the bow, but honestly, it could absolutely be there as well. I'm going to guess that at this point, with all the checks that we've made, one of the bows is going to be in Ganon's Tower. The other one is going to be in, some far-flung location that we don't want to go to.
And chat saying Mimic Cave or Laser Bridge could be worse. This is the problem. Turtle Rock is a pendant, which can give some delight, but there are a ton of checks in Turtle Rock just due to Laser Bridge.
All right. Earworm is giving us our first checks into the Dark Death Mountain. Meantime, Forgotten Toupee finally getting his lamp. There's your fire source.
Dr. Earworm's going into Hookshot Cave now and going to pick up the fire rod, hopefully. 20 rupees. Ooh, Ether's in Hookshot Cave.
All right, we know that's needed for Misery Mire. That's one of our 2 remaining pieces of the puzzle for Go Mode. And yeah, at this point, we are in Bow Mode. Of all the runners right now, Dr. Earworm is the closest, I would say, to Go Mode at this point in time, because he has the Fire Rod and the Ether Medallion. Doesn't have the lamp, although based on his navigation to the dark rooms over there to get the Moon Pearl, I don't think he's particularly worried about it.
Ooh.
That's terrifying.
That is terrifying, because that means that any of the runners can access Turtle Rock. That means Turtle Rock is in play. I'm scared.
Yeah, I didn't want to see that. The runners don't want to see that. So Turtle Rock is absolutely open for us, and we've had access to it for at least a little bit of time at this point, because okay, we have Hammer, we have Kane. Oh gosh.
Yeah, Bitner's doing a lot of Hyrule Castle checks. We've just got to hope that he's able to get to Dark Cross in order to get that Moon Pearl, which is still in a terrible spot.
Yeah, this is one of those instances where if you know your dark rooms, you're probably doing pretty well. Lana Bean also does not have her lamp either. Knowing where it's at, on Hobo. I'm a little bit surprised that more runners didn't check that, but I don't necessarily blame them.
Ooh. Lana Bean is gonna check it.
You heard me, Lana, didn't you? You heard me. Okay, Josh is finally doing Dark Cross. He is not going to feel terribly good about this, but he has a lot of access at this point in time, and you got to be feeling at least decent about yourself, because even though he's continually made checks, like he's not had the Moon Pearl, but he's continued to make checks. Like very few things that he's done have been empty, and I think that's the most important thing in a rando. While you're still looking for stuff, just keep moving forward. Like keep making checks. People are going to have to make checks at some point.
Powder on Pyramid Ledge, so Magic Bat is in play. Forgotten Toupee is doing Paradox Cave. He may very well go up to Hookshot Cave and be able to get that Ether and get the Fire Rod as well. And being second to do so, giving so many checks to our runners.
All right. In the meantime, Josh Bittner getting the Moon Pearl and says, I understand I'm behind, but he remembers where that fire rod was. So he's making a beeline to do all of the Dark Death Mountain checks. We'll be rewarded with the Ether Medallion as well. We'll have to end with the fire rod. So really making pretty efficient checks and not wasting any time. Maybe forgot that he doesn't have the hammer, though.
And wishing stones were just 50 rupees, and Lana Bean, well, doesn't pick him up. I guess the question is now, will Josh Bittner go into Turtle Rock, assuming that... I know this is a lot of assumptions that he'll do all the checks here, but assuming he does all the checks here, will he go into Turtle Rock where Dr. Earworm didn't? Oh, and Forgotten Toupee made.
No, because he doesn't have the hammer. And you need the hammer to access Turtle Rock.
Oh. Yeah, because he's 5K.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I know that was a very good question, and I would have done the same thing, but nope, unfortunately not. Meantime, so runners are Dr. Earworm clearing out Desert Palace, which is another crystal. I think if you are in Dr. Earworm's place, you know that you're in bow mode. You do the dungeons that you can clear, you full clear them, and then if you haven't found it yet, then start making some gambles. But you have a lot of leeway at this point in time. You know, he's sitting at being able to clear Desert Palace. He's able to clear Skullwoods. He's able to clear Ice Palace. He could even clear Misery Mire at this point in time, all without the bow. Now, how comfortable is he in the dark rooms of Misery Mire? I don't know. That's a question for him. We'll see, but he's got a lot that he can do and continue to clear while still getting crystals. I always like the adage, if you can do a crystal dungeon, clear it, and he's got about 4 that he can do.
And yeah, so that's a second crystal for Dr. Earworm, and a second crystal for Lana Bean. Of course, the whole question, the whole Pandora's box of Misery Mire's here. For instance, will it be a God Mire? And then will they do extra checks in Mire just for a bow? And chat saying that they think that Dr. Earworm will be fine. Well, yeah, that's definitely.
I mean, we presume. In fact, Dr. Earworm has said, "Yeah, I'm already in Desert Palace. I'm in Misery Mire's area. Let's go ahead and do this right now." So playing like a champ and really moving very efficiently in this first room. Josh Bittner is also taking a dive into Misery Mire at the same time, wasting no time.
Yeah. So yeah, to start off, saying thank you to our trackers, Robs and Sorceress Finch, for all of this, and of course, if the runners are giving you a fantastic performance, which I think they are, you know, it might be good to give them a follow, show them some love. So it does not look like a God Mire.
No, and I think at this point in time, if you have anything that you're missing, you don't want it to be a God Mire. You want to have to clear it through, because if you're missing one thing and then find it in a later crystal dungeon, you're like, well, if this was a God Mire, I could have done it, but instead I wasted time. So at least you know that everyone is having to do it instead of it being a choice whether or not one person does it or not.
I see. They did the top right chest either late or I didn't see. The big key was there, so Dr. Earworm is just going through it. Josh Bittner is now doing different checks, so the question is there now. Whoops.
Oh, I'm from the Midwest. That's why we have the term "ope" for any time that we rant and then everything goes away. Just a good catch-all term. I encourage the rest of the world to adopt "ope."
Lana Bean, knowing about the fire rod, having the mirror now, going into Mire. Huh. Yeah. So we'll just see what happens,
Yeah.
I guess.
Now, none of our other runners have done a bird toss. Lana, can you be my hero? Can you bird toss? Oh, bird smash. Okay.
It spurred something, definitely.
I mean,
So-
sure. So in a weird sort of scenario where we started out runners for like the first 30 minutes were literally in every part of the world. No one was in the same spot. Now we converge and 3 of our 4 runners are in Misery Mire.
I wouldn't have expected it. Can you tell me what the allure is of Misery Mire?
It is slimy. I don't know. I mean, yeah.
It's got 10 arrows in it. We've got to hope for something more in here to see. Forgotten Toupee is now facing off against Mothula, which will be the second crystal and will be the first to defeat Mothula. So if there's anything on Mothula or in the back of Skull Woods, we'll be able to see.
All right, there it is. So just a map and another crystal. The crystals are going to come fast and furious here in the next, I would say, 20 minutes from all of our runners, because we do have access to everything at this point.
Ooh, is Dr. Earworm... just checking near Desert Palace then. I thought for a second, I glanced back and I was like, is Dr. Earworm going to try the Turtle Rock play? We're getting a pet check. Let's see. What is there? Just a little bit.
Just a little love. So, yep. And nothing was on Sahasrara when we turned in the green pendant. So everyone who did everything in Tower of Hera, just know that was a complete waste of time.
So, go on.
Oh no, I was just going to comment that Dr. Earworm now is going to be the first one into Ice Palace, which, again, Crystal Dungeon, much quicker than it used to be because of the Icebreaker shortcut.
And the first item is a piece of heart in Ice Palace. There should be 2 items here, correct? So we'll be able to see the second one. Dr. Earworm is not choosing to do Icebreaker. Bittner's doing Skull Woods. Lana Bean is Misery Mire, and Forgotten Toupee is in Desert Palace at the moment.
Oh, Dr. Earworm is going to do Icebreaker. He just opted to go back and hit the switch. I'm not familiar enough. Oh,
Ooh.
So, well then.
Let's see. Is it? I mean, technically not, but yes, it's go mode. It's just Dr. Earworm's got to go, okay, I skipped the lamp at some point. You know, I'm just gonna move past that and just complete all the dungeons now, basically. So, yeah, Dr. Earworm first in go mode.
Yeah, I mean, technically doesn't have the lamp. I don't think he cares one iota. He knows he's in go mode. He's like, oh yeah, I have to go back and get the key. He may pick up some chests like that are literally on his way, but he's not going to spend any more time. Imagine, 49 minutes. You're already in go mode. This is when your heart starts beating super fast and you can't control it because you're like, oh god, I'm in go mode. I have to go fast now.
Definitely very fast. Well, to start off on going fast, well, Josh Bittner has finished his Mafia fight. Dr. Earworm will face off against Cold Stare, which is hopefully something that will just go really quickly for him, we can hope.
Yep, so Dr. Earworm gets the corner hits. Yep, that was a clean Cold Stare right there.
Lana Bean is going into Pod. Just to remind, because this is something that I forget myself, there is enough for bow out there. So it is possible that there are 2 roads to go mode. We'll just have to see.
It's possible, absolutely. The difference is that all the other runners are going to have to be the ones to show us whether or not they get it or not. Because Dr. Earworm's not going to open a single chest he doesn't have to. Lana Bean using the bottle skip, the bottle glitch. If you're in this room and you can do a glitch that knocks things off center, all this room technically does is check to see if there's no enemies on the screen, and if you glitch things out in such a way that you dislocate that second screen from the not the Igors, but from the mimics there, you can walk them all 3 off the screen and then get through, even though this is supposed to be bow locked.
Yeah, so those 2 chests there were supposed to be bow locked, so there was no possibility of bow in there. Forgotten Toupee has faced off against Lammo, getting his there crystal. So, yeah.
And come to find out, all of Dark Palace, after seeing that first treasure chest be the shovel, Dark Palace itself is bow locked. Like, you are not intended to get past the first area until you have the bow. So that is fantastic knowledge for Dr. Earworm, knowing that if there is a bow in this back half, it is absolutely not intended to be the bow that got you there.
Lana Bean is doing a bomb skip to the big chest. So this would mean that anything in the back of Pod isn't going to be a bow. that can be great news and yet horrible news, depending who you are in this.
Well, not saying that it can't be a bow. It just can't be the logical bow that Dr. Earworm got to get you there, right?
Yeah, rethinking, recalculating, processing. Yes, that is a good point. Thank you. Still, there appears to be absolutely nothing in pod. There's 2 checks left in the dark room, so we'll see if those give anything. But yeah, we've definitely had a few items here.
Meanwhile, Dr. Earworm is like, nah, I'm good. We're going to roll. As expected, not checking the entire back half of what we have here. Lana Bean is checking everything, hoping beyond all hope that there's a bow to continue on. Although logically, if she checked that first chest, she should know.
Chat saying at this rate, Earworm should be heading up DM by the 1 hour mark. Earworm only has, well, I'd say 2.5 crystals left because Earworm is right in the middle of the pod. Is this where we'd expect Dr. Earworm to make it to Ganon's Tower, or maybe a little bit less, or maybe a little bit more?
Well, the ones that he has left are actually not all that long. I mean, he has here, he's going to mirror over and do Eastern Palace, and then he's going to go rush straight to the back of Skullwoods and beat the crap out of a moth. So yes, it's entirely possible that by about the 1 hour mark, I'm going to give it 102, but depending on his pace, absolutely, he could be there.
Somebody else, yeah. With regards to Lana, I'm not entirely sure she saw the fire rod. We know that she went up Paradox Cave, but we don't know if she did see the floating island. I mean, I don't know. Did you see that, or?
You know what? I do not recall. I do remember she was one of the first ones up to Death Mountain, but it's true. Like, if you forget to check that, it's very easy to forget to check, especially when you're coming in from the bottom. So it's possible that Lana forgot, which would be terrible.
And this is a perfect dungeon for Dr. Earworm. There's the big key in the first chest. Nothing else should be needed at all, so can just completely go ahead and full clear this thing in a couple of minutes, really.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Josh Bittner is actually showing us the back half of Thieves Town, which we had not seen yet. Doesn't have the hammer, so may not be able to logically full clear it. The reason why all the other runners skipped it is because Thieves Town was another pendant at this point in time, and they checked the first 4 and noped out and have not been punished for it.
The best that the runners can get from this is a bow, by the way. There should be nothing else that could help the runners that's in any other locations now, realistically. So that's all we can hope for people doing extra tech checks like this. But of course, the runners don't know what we know.
Yeah, and the problem is Josh Bittner just picked up the key, so it's possible that there's an item that's hidden behind that Hammerlock location. Still hasn't been to Hype Cave, by the way, which is going to be a problem because that's where that hammer is.
And Blind going with the jokes, saying that a baker's job is a piece of cake, whilst simultaneously Dr. Earworm is facing off against the Armos Knights. So a lot of action happening here.
Yep. 6th crystal, and yeah, just a compass. So there's the pendant for Josh Bittner. Does not know what's in that last treasure. Really, it's avoidable. You can completely avoid it if you want to. The problem is that we know is that we know where the hammer is. I hope that he doesn't have to come back and turn around to it to get it. And Dr. Earworm's on his way back to Skullwoods for his 7th and final crystal.
Yep. So get your guesses ready. Start thinking, where could that mysterious Ganon tower key be hiding? Because we'll be doing the big key guessing game very shortly.
Meanwhile, Toupee looks like he's on his way over to Ice Palace. I'm sorry. We happen to know that's exactly where he needs to go because the bow's there. Lana, while you're up here, don't flute away.
Don't do it, Lana. Don't flute.
No, go into the basement for.
Well, a well-deserved hot drink for Lana, waiting those 50 seconds in towel room, and not fluting away. So my heart's palpitating for this. I want Fire Rod for all.
And blink and you miss it. Dr. Earworm already goes ahead and gets the 7th and final crystal. And you know what that means, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen of the randomizer community, there are 22 possible locations that the Ganon's Tower Big Key can possibly be located. Get your guesses in chat, 1 through 22. We will be following Dr. Earworm as he opens up each successive location. My friend, Goron, do you have a guess for us?
I put it in chat. I put 12. So we'll just have to see. There's a good spread of guesses. Nobody going for the last chest, number 22. So we'll see on that.
I'm going to guess number 9. No one has guessed 9. 9 is my lucky number. I'm going to go with it.
And Dr. Earworm is definitely making the ascent. Makes all of this does intrigue me, though. And sadly, none of the runners will probably look it up. But what do you think was in Turtle Rock? I mean, could there have been Bombos and Quake there?
If possible. I'm more likely to guess that, like, our other bow upgrade was probably there.
Oh, and Lana did not get the fire rod off of Floating Island. No. Although, you know, that's the bad news I've got to tell you all. The good news is Bittner is getting the hype. Is getting the hammer. This is so good. Come on, hammer, yes. And
all right. Now, Bittner, now we need you to not go back to Thieves Town. No need to full clear, man.
Bittner will probably go back to Thieves Town.
All right. So, Dr. Earworm, going to start off with a right side check. So, hope chests, first two. 1!
Oh, number 1! And a pompous. Number 1. So, I had to refresh. Who posted 1 in the chat? Because
a fake
I
user.
remember. So, what?
A fake user. Congratulations on not being a fake guesser. And you win.
To clarify, Forgotten Toupee, through going through Ice Palace, has gotten the bow now. So Forgotten Toupee is actually in 100% go mode because he has got the lamp as well.
This might very well be one of those seeds that you end up getting a personal best on for Dr. Earworm. He is at 103 and is now climbing the tower's gauntlet. This is the stuff that dreams are made of right now if you're a speedrunner.
Yeah, we've just got to hope the best. This is those BMOS. Anything but them. That's just enough. The room cleared. Going up past the Ganons. Going down past all the spikes.
Oh. Is Lana doing it? Is Lana doing it?
Oh gosh, is Lana doing it? Is Lana there? Oh yes, Lana is doing it. Going through that, and Dr. Earworm going through Cannonball GT. I always look at this room with regards to dinosaurs and skeletons and think of the Beatles, by the way. So I think like a beetle room or something.
Meanwhile, Josh Bittner, while he was the last into the Dark World, now also in go mode, continues to make efficient checks. Has 3 crystal dungeons. This will be his 4th, but continued to make great progress, and now is right along with Forgotten Toupee as in go mode. Lana Bean now with the fire rod, and just letting Lana, why do you hate shields? Why do you hate shields so much? Like, that's the second time I've seen you let a pumpkin eat your shield, and then you bombed to heck something like a location that gave you a shield. Why? I'm just curious.
And we do have a raid. Dr. Earworm has defeated Lammo and is defeating the sorcerers on that floor. Doing very well with the mobs at the moment. So, yes, Lana will soon be in go mode. This was actually quite a fast seed, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know we tried to scare the runners in the race room beforehand that, when I comment something, it's usually a terrible seed that no one else wants to see at all. And this was a really, really fast seed.
The Moon Pearl and Dark Cross was probably the worst part of this, really. Dr. Earworm skipping checks. The only thing that could really help him at this stage would be Silvers.
Yeah, I mean, he's got Butter Sword, so even if you have to do a Silverless Ganon, and he's shown absolutely no worries with doing dark rooms without a lamp anyway, so the only thing he could do right now that would impress me more is if he hovered that, which didn't have to.
And just to keep an eye on the other runners, Bittner is 3 crystals away, Lana is 4 crystals away, and Forgotten Toupee is 2 crystals away from go mode.
Geometry Mage time, and this looks like a pretty decent setup for a double. Okay. Guys, they're not called the boots anymore. They're called mitts for your feet.
Was that 2211? Because I thought it was 222, but one must have been missed somewhere.
Yeah, I think I think it was 2121 because I think on the second hit the two hit at the same time.
Lana's getting her 4th crystal at the moment, and Toupee is about to get his 6th crystal, whilst Dr. Earworm is, yes, about to face Ganon. What knowledge does Ganon have?
Well, I know what knowledge he has. He knows where the other bow is.
He does know that. I just love Ganon's life hints, you know? I just want Ganon to be that sage. I must think more inside the box. Dr. Earworm through first phase Ganon is trying to hit Ganon in second phase, and we're now going to third.
Yeah, moving very quickly. Josh Bittner moving his way through Palace of Darkness right now. Still picking up a few things. I think just looking for the big key at this point. Oh, they were in Ganon's tower.
Oh.
Missed the lantern glitch, so Dr. Earworm's going to have to be a little bit careful here.
Definitely got a bit of low mana. We'll have to do spin attacks. Was it 12?
With Butter Sword, part of me wants to say 8. Oh no, Dr. Earworm.
Yeah, Dr. Earworm, low on health.
Spins.
Might have been choosing the fall, we don't know, in order to come back with better potions and health, effectively.
Yeah, if you miss that potion glitch, even with half magic, and he doesn't have the lamp, so he has no choice but to use the fire rod, which means he's in for a bit of a rough time. But luckily, he's filling up on all the magic.
At this moment, this must feel very, very unlucky for Dr. Earworm. He doesn't know what we know, that on the restream, he's far enough ahead that he can do this stuff. But it might make a difference on personal best, which is a shame. And it might make a difference with regards to the other runners, the other 23 runners who are also racing this race as we speak.
Yeah, it never feels good to have to do that, but it's best when you recognize it early on and you know that you're not equipped. It's like, hey, let's do this. Would have been nicer to not waste that first Ganon fight, maybe, but hey, let's knock it out now.
Forgotten Toupee is going up the mountain. Josh Bittner is getting his 5th crystal. Lana Bean is now doing Eastern Palace for her 6th crystal.
Back to phase 3 in a good spot. Meanwhile, Josh Bittner going to be mirroring over and doing Eastern Palace as well. So right on Lana Bean's tail.
phase. Let's hope this goes a lot better. Torch glitch.
Gets the glitch. Yeah, that's real nice when you can get the torch glitch with the fire rod.
2, 3, 4, 5. There's no hiding. There's no hiding from Link Ganon. Come on. That wasn't it. 6, I believe. 7. 8. 9. Lana is facing Omnos Knights at the moment. 10. Oh, that was 12 then. And Dr. Earworm is about to finish.
GG's Dr. Earworm will give their time as soon as across the bridge. And done. Dr. Earworm does finish actually in 5th place overall. First place, Mr. Ed with 104.22, Ravis at 108.49, Sheer at 109.04, RD Walsh at 113.55, and Dr. Earworm in 5th place at 114.28. GG's to all of our runners. It was fast. It was incredibly fast.
Yeah, get your GG's in the in the chat.
And we hope Dr. Earworm will be able to join us in the race room for a chat here before too long. Meanwhile, Dr. Bittner is... Okay, Bittner still needs to do Swamp Palace. Did he already do Eastern? I thought I saw him in Eastern.
And GG's.
Yeah, GG's to Dr. Earworm, who just joined us in the race room.
That was a big old PB on that mode for me.
I thought it might be. It was a very, very fast seed.
Yeah, that seed is a perfect example of, when people ask how do you how do you go fast in rando, it's go where the items are. Like I just continuously did not get punished in that seed. Everything happened to be on the path I was in, and it just worked out.
You did make some checks that took some time that did help in your favor. What were your thoughts about Dark Cross?
Oh man, so Dark Cross is one of those checks that I never really loved to make. Escape in general, I felt sort of bad when I got the early sword, and I felt like I was sort of sticking to an old bad habit when I went straight into escape. But then once I had the gloves and I dropped into back of escape and I had a key, and at that point I had plenty of health and figured, yeah, I'll go grab it. And as soon as I saw that moon pearl, I was just like, well, okay, I'm never going to I'm not going to Saha or Eastern area until I absolutely have to, because it's probably just a lamp to put the moon pearl in logic, to put everything else in logic. And I didn't get punished. Like I said, the bow happened to be on the path, and I just ended up being in go mode with only a few things I didn't really need to do, right? Tower of Hera was unnecessary, it turns out, but it was there and it didn't feel too bad to do it while I was there.
I think I'll ask you, because we all know, but you don't know. Technically, you weren't in go mode at the end. You were missing lamp. Where do you think that was this time?
I sort of assumed it was in like Saha's closet or like right side Eastern or something, but is it something grosser than that? It could have been Zora area also. I managed to completely skip Zora area.
It was under the bridge, to clarify.
Oh no.
Yeah, Hobo gave you his only camping lamp to help save the world, and you just didn't want to take it.
Yeah, I was kind of worried when I was doing Mire, because I've gotten punished before where I get to do Mire and Desert in one go, and I try and get fancy and do Mire first, and then it turns out, the lamp or bow upgrade or something is just sitting in checkerboard. So I was a little worried that I was going to struggle in the dark room and then find the lamp, but it worked out. It was nice to find both the fire rod and the flute on Death Mountain, because that confirmed that lamp was the only thing locking Moon Pearl, and it was the only thing locking Death Mountain, and it was just in the light world somewhere. So that even though I knew I was out of logic basically the whole seed, I just sort of stopped worrying about it because I knew it was just the lamp sitting somewhere that put everything back.
To clarify, from everything that we know through seeing all our runners, as much as it seems what actually put you ahead in all of this seemed to be the fact that you were the first person to go into Death Mountain, first Dark Death Mountain with the Mire, so that you were able to actually go onto the floating island. You were also the first person to actually go into Ice Palace, which effectively gave you the bow and meant that you were in go mode.
That's right, and the other bow was in GT. We know from the Ganon hint. So I was a little nervous about the bow. I kind of was in the mindset of like, there's two of them. It's probably not in Hera Basement. It's probably not on Bombo's tablet. It's probably not, the other item in Mire. It's probably not one of these horrible checks that I've isolated. But yeah, that one just worked out for me. There was a lot of stuff that I have been trying to encourage myself to skip when I can because they're very, very time consuming, that I didn't get punished for this time. So that was nice.
So yeah, I mean, Kakariko at the start was quite stacked. Do you think it was, from myself looking at it, you made the right choices. But do you think it was just that, or do you think that it was actually quite a fast seed, really, as well, on top of that?
There is absolutely a jet in this seed. You skip Hera. I had so many bombs and the sword coming out of Link's house and the Uncle Drop and the tree pole. That's why I went straight down to Mini Moldorm and Ice Rod Cave, hoping to find like a bottle or a flute. And Sick Kid had the booties today, so it would have been nice if I had found one. But where was the Mire? I don't remember. I know I got it very early.
Mire was on Uncle, to clarify.
Uncle. Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, having a lot of those sort of, it's not exactly a convenience item, right? It's required, but having it early makes so much of the routing just so much cleaner. Because I know I'm not going to have to, although I'm sure y'all saw, I realized I grabbed the purple chest before I did dig game, and I was sort of like in this moment of like, which one of these am I going to isolate? And I kind of forgot I didn't have the book, so I was going to be isolating Bombos if I committed to purple chest. And but if I hadn't made those mistakes, I had all the items for that sort of like South Dark World loop to be really clean. Everything just sort of fell in, and then my execution wasn't too terrible except for missing torch glitch on Ganon and not having enough magic to finish it off.
Just to clarify, Forgotten Toupee is now going to face off against Ganon. Josh Bittner has gotten his 7th crystal, and Lana Bean is climbing the tower as we speak. Let me just think.
I do want to ask you about that Ganon fight, because you didn't have the lamp, so you couldn't get the cheap torch glitch rolling. You had to rely on the fire rod. What was going through your mind there? I think by that point only one other person had finished, and I know you were kind of probably palms were sweaty, heart's palpitating. So what's going through your mind there at the very end?
Yeah, I was bummed. I thought I had, so I noticed when I joined when I joined the stream so I could read the chat. I noticed Ruby also thought that I had a blue goo. I thought I had one left, so and then I didn't think to just like run and grab one before I dropped in, which I probably should have because my Ganon isn't that great. But yeah, it was a little bit of a bummer, but I figured everything sort of fell so into place for me on that seed that I was in decent shape to finish high. This is fifth overall on the race against these names is that's a big improvement over my sort of average. So I was still very pleased with it, and then the Ganon fight went pretty smoothly. The second time around, I missed some of the triples, but I got a couple of them, and yeah, it felt good.
Cool. Well, anything else that you would want to add to it before the end of the run, really?
No, thank you so much for putting it together. Thanks to the restreamer and the trackers, and thanks y'all for commentating, and GG's to the other runners. And I'm gonna go grab some lunch. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. That was Dr. Earworm. If you liked what they had to say, go ahead, give them a follow here on Twitch. Easiest way to support the runners. Meanwhile, Dr. Forgotten to Pay is finishing up his Ganon fight at this point. Lana Bean just finished up Aga 2, and Josh Bittner is about to enter Ganon's Tower entirely.
Yeah, Ganon's just trying to be as evasive as ever, it seems.
Yeah, there's a nice pattern in when you're having to do swordless Ganon. It's depending on if he is teleporting to the top or the bottom, you light the lamp, he teleports, you can consistently get 2 hits on him. If you time it properly, you can get 3 hits on him. It can be a little bit difficult, though, to get that timing for the 3rd hit. But Forgotten to Pay does happen to complete and crosses that wonderful bridge. Does look like Forgotten to Pay finishes in total in 11th place, time of 1:25.36. Let me just read off these other finishers. After Dr. Earworm in 5th, Late Bit in 6th at 1:17, Joss in 7th at 1:23.05, Meandem 1:23.19, Philistay at 1:23.52, so a lot of people grouped up at the 1:23 mark. Legendary Moon at 1:25.54, and of course, Forgotten to Pay, he just joins us at 1:25.36, 2 seconds behind Legendary Moon. GG's, Forgotten.
GG. Oof. Sweaty palms for like the past 15 minutes.
I was gonna say, how sweaty were your palms the entire time? This seed threw everything at everyone in the first 5 minutes. This is the first open seed that I can recall that the first 30 minutes, everyone was doing something different.
Jeez, I mean, we had Titan's Mitts and the Moon Pearl, and like, what was it, before the 15-minute mark? I hate when that happens. I'm like, oh man. Man, so pretty much sweaty palms started when I found the Titan's Mitts.
And then you decided to go to Skullwoods, and well, I believe Thieves Town as well. You did eventually after that. I can't remember when exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I died on my way out of Skullwoods, and then I think immediately we found the boots and then Thieves Town.
Oh, and GG to Lana Bean. We'll get the times up in a second.
Yeah, Lana Bean finished in 13th at 1:27.29. Got to give shout out. Professor Renderer did finish wedged between Toupee and Lana Bean at 1:26.18. So.
And GG's Lana Bean.
GG. Lana, where are you?
Well, while we get Lana rolling here, let's keep rolling with these questions because the opening start I think was probably the strangest opening that I've seen in a rando for a little bit, and that's saying something. To be fair,
Yeah.
you know, how do you manage that? Like, what's your personal strategy? Do you have a route that you're like, I'm going to do this and I'm not going to let the seed detract it, or do you try to read the seed and be like, okay, it feels like it's pointing me in this direction, I better go?
So I'll say this: every time I try to read the seed, it always ends poorly for me. And so I've started getting out of the habits of trying to predict where it is. I'll usually do the majority of the Sphere Zero checks and then start following items now. And in fact, usually Hyrule Castle is last for me, and that was a departure finding that Moon Pearl when I did. I was really on the whim to do that.
To to clarify, that did help a lot of our runners. Most of them on the restream did actually get the Moon Pearl first from Dark Cross, which was a little bit of a surprise to see that there wasn't just one person just steaming ahead of everybody else.
I mean, who needs to see anyways?
The main thing that I noticed that made that there was some that you were slightly slower than Dr. Earworm was the choice between Skullwoods and Dark Kakariko and Dark Death Mountain. Sadly, Dark Death Mountain had the flute, the fire rod, and the ether tablet all in it, and it was
Goodness, yeah. I was like, I hate Dark Death Mountain too. Especially when I have access to it early like this. I feel like I always rush it, and then I never get anything. So then I was predisposed towards going, doing all the dark world checks and the mirror and getting the purple chest and everything, which led me towards the hammer, I guess. But that's all I got out of it.
How did you? Hammer was in Hype Cave, which it seemed as though it was something people would get to, but not everybody actually went for Hammer. And Bo was just Ice Palace, which it seems like not many people do actually want to go there.
Well, see, and I don't even mind Ice Palace anymore since Icebreaker was discovered. And I didn't want to do Mire first, and the only reason I did was to give me access to the, to the Dark Pyramid checks. And then I could, route that in going into a, pod and EP if I had to go there without the bow. And so finding the bow in Ice Palace wasn't a pleasant surprise, but still got through the sea without too many problems. I'm not happy how Mire went, but overall I'm pleased with how I finished.
So I goofed.
Me too.
Fire Rod. Otherwise, I'm looking at about an hour-long seed.
Oh, Red.
Yeah. Well, that was absolutely a question on the list for you, Lana. And you ran a fantastic race. Although, I have one question for you, and I feel like this is not going to be a standard interview question. This is going to be like, help me understand you better as a human being question.
I don't like shields.
Why do you not like shields?
Because they ruin the beauty of whatever I choose to play as. Especially the Mire Shield. It's huge.
You let the pumpkins eat the shield. You take time out of a speed run to sit there and let the pumpkins eat it.
I do.
Principle that matters.
And I presume that was the question.
Absolutely, yes. That was the soul revealing question that I had.
On that, I have a question, but I don't know who to. Like, just admins of everything. Why can't we have a shieldless ALTTPR? Just choose a race and just take out every single shield.
Well, see, here's the thing. I know ladder races just started Open Plus, and It's close to that. I think it locks you at like blue armor and only tempered sword, and I don't remember what they did to the shield. I feel like they took him out, but I'm not sure. They're calling it like open plus or something.
I know there's definitely a divide here. I'm anti-shield. I feel like Vitazia's pro-shield. Like there's a split.
I lean on that shield so much in the blind fight, it's not even funny.
See, ever since I figured out how to do laser bridge, I don't want shield as much.
Thank you.
But until I figure out how to do laser bridge, boy, I was hoping to get that Mire shield at some point.
Just don't get hit by lasers. All good.
I mean, just get good. Why not?
Just be better. Yeah. I feel like that's the rando experience in general. Like, if you can't do this, just be better. Just come on.
Why get good when you can get lucky?
You know, I bet you, though, didn't go up to Death Mountain about 3 or 4 times and not check the island like I did. I bet you didn't do that today.
Oh, no, I did not. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. Went into Mire, or went into, what did I do? I went and beat Hira. I left Death Mountain again, went to Mire. I did all of Desert. I went to Eastern, went into Pod. Sequence broke right side. I lost about 20 to 25 minutes. I had to go to early routing, and then it kind of went all downhill.
I feel like that just happened to like High Ruler the other day too. Oh man, I feel bad.
I was looking at an easy PB. My PB is like 114. I think I probably would have been about 101. I would have been about 105 today.
Dang.
Yeah. So GG's in the chat for Josh Bittner. To clarify, Dr. was having a good run until he had to drop down.
Oh, does something happen with the Ganon fight?
Well, yeah, with Dr. Earworm, he was doing fantastic. The problem is he never found the lamp. Like, he just avoided the lamp the entire time.
Oh, no.
So it's really difficult to do that torch glitch with the fire rod and no goo whatsoever. So he got halfway through the final phase of the Ganon fight and ran out of magic, unfortunately. So
No,
had to fall out. So yeah, he was on pace right there with everyone else as well.
Okay, and here's my question. Speaking of running out of things, this is the second time this happened to me. Getting to the second mimic room in the gauntlets, and then the arrows don't spawn under that pot. How do I not do that? Who can tell me?
Just too many things on screen at the same time. Laser shooting, all that stuff. All that adds things to the screen. So if there's enough things going on and you lift the pot, it'll despawn. I had to go outside and dig. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I went all the way to I forget which room it is. I think it was like the fire room to get arrows.
So GG's Josh Bittner is here with us.
Hello.
Yeah.
GG.
Well, that was supposed to be my restream redemption, but instead I played like an absolute moron.
Hey, me too.
Yeah, but I mean, I should have sub 120'd because I went to GT with 6 crystals because in my mind I had switched Thieves Town and Eastern Palace as crystal and pendant, so that was a big oops. It was kind of unlucky that I clearly need to practice my dark cross, because if I had the pearl 10 minutes in, that would have been rad.
I will say this for you, Josh. You were the last one into the dark world because I think at this point you just hadn't practiced your dark rooms. You cleared out the entirety of the light world before checking dark cross, and still managed to get a 135 or I haven't checked your time yet, but like for real, like as rough as that opening was for you, you made good use of everything on the back end of it, just making good plays and efficient plays after that.
Yeah, I mean, like, I felt like, I was really trying to avoid doing AGA 1, so I kind of cleared a lot of things out, and just my stubborn refusal to go back to Sank. I had half a thought, getting a sword out of Uncle and just beating the front of Escape, but I didn't do that because that's kind of usually crazy to do, but yeah, so making the mistake about Eastern Palace and forgetting that, especially with one item in the back of Thieves, even if I had cleared the front four, that would have been defensible, but yeah, I mean, I'm a little unhappy with my first 30, and then just two big major oopses on the back end too, but otherwise, I felt like I ran okay. Because like you said, I dropped, a 134.47. I just feel like I should have gotten a sub 120 if I had not made even one of those mistakes.
Just to clarify, because we didn't before. So in between Lana Bean and Josh Bittner was Skipsy, 128.38, Signums 129.51, Shindig Pig 132.34, Esperhard 133.24, and just after Josh Bittner is Golfer Bolts with 136.27. Josh Bittner, your time in this is 134.47. Your timer is still going on your restream.
There you go.
I'll just say.
I always forget to push that button when I'm like pushing done in race time. I mean, yeah, a little unfortunate. Two big major mistakes on the back end, and then the Pearl placement. Ah, man, I'm a little sad. I could have really put in a spicy time. I know I'm capable of doing that.
Well, something a bit more light for all of this. The room is divided. Are you pro or anti-shield?
Did I miss a shield? I was absolutely forgetting. I don't know what happened.
Yeah. Let's not talk about it. I don't want it to meme. It'll meme if we talk about it too much.
Was there, there was the shield on the library, wasn't there?
I started a meme. That's cool.
A contributing member of this community.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So let's talk a little bit, because we were able to talk to Dr. Earworm about it early on. But now that we have three runners all together, let's talk about that opening where just everything was gifted to us so early on. I think this is the first time I can remember an open seed where within 10 minutes of the run, all four runners were in four different parts of the world, and y'all never connected. Like, there was never a point where everyone was in the same spot.
An open seed being open? That's not allowed.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a hot open, and man, I'm just gonna be salty for the rest of the day about that stupid Pearl. That if I was able to pick it up, I know a lot of the dark rooms, but I haven't practiced, Dark Cross in quite some time. It's one of those things that you kind of just think, like, oh, I got that in my back pocket, like, I know that, and clearly I do not. Not anymore.
What was everybody's thoughts about Turtle Rock? Because quite a few of the pieces were there for Turtle
Terrified.
Rock.
I was going up to check Turtle Rock when I saw the fire red. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to Ice Palace.
I scouted
the medallion. Yeah, I scouted the medallion and then found the medallion in Hookshot Cave and realized, oh no, I have everything to clear it. And then I was scared of the bow being on Ped. Ugh, terrified.
PR didn't exist to me. I was just flying as best as I could, because I knew after I got that Pearl, like, I was in deep trouble, and that's why I immediately went, as soon as I got the Dark World access, I immediately got that Fire Rod. So my routing must have looked really crazy, because I was just trying to make bold plays to catch up.
And you did.
And had I not totally beansed several of that stuff, I mean, I would have, even if I had gotten the Pearl when I did, and then, just had remembered to do Eastern Palace, then I think I probably would have been in the low 120s. But just some really idiotic mistakes.
Well, and realistically, you all played fantastic through all of this. You know, the new tech, everyone, you know, icebreaker very nicely. Everyone was doing diver down. I'm still trying to practice and get all of that stuff down. So
Should learn diver down, but I just don't.
Everyone has done fantastic, and I look at everyone's collection rates. Like Earworm had a collection rate of 112. Toupee,
Oh, God.
so Toupee, you were at 129. Josh, you were at 130, and Lana, you were at 135. So like, this was one of those one of those races that I think everyone did fantastic on. It was, you know, just minimizing the extra movement, and that was it. And everyone, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of PBs that were distributed today from this seed as well.
For sure,
I'm super
'cause I'm-
excited
I'm
to
seeing
come
some
back
of
and
the-
watch this stream later.
Yeah, because I'm like seeing some of the people that finished ahead of me, and you know, they definitely really got a nice time for what I'm familiar with them, what they normally do. So this is a very friendly seed. I'm just a little bummed about what I did, and then you know, be another time. You know, sometimes you're the Lord, sometimes you're the dog.
I just also want to say to all of you as runners, it's just so lovely to watch you and to see everything that's happening. It was definitely fun to watch you all, and yeah, it's just wonderful to see your expertise in this game. It really is. So thank you.
I mean, I put in some work,
thank
you
you.
know. I'm a graduate of the 2021 Mentor Tournament, and I wish there was a Mentor Plus tournament, because now that the Mentor Tournament has not made me total dog doo-doo at the game, now I gotta, like, get better.
It's time to put on the weighted clothing.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's just now that, you know, we're past the beginnings and being decent, now it's just like, man, I wish I could go back and like be mentored all over again.
Blindfold category win.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah, I'm with Lana on that one. You.
You
Every
would
room's a
be,
dark room.
you'd be able to get into a GDQ with that, so have fun.
Oh, any final thoughts as we try to get things wrapped up and get everyone rolling on this wonderful evening?
Hashtag Fire Rat sucks.
And see, no, hashtag Fire Rod is my favorite sprite in the game. It's the most
Just my
beautiful
final
item
thoughts
crafted.
were, I swear I'm not usually this dumb, and I play a lot better than that. And well, there are some people that think I'm more towards their skill level, so we'll see if I can surprise some people on ladder then, if they see this performance today and think, I can take them.
The advanced strategy. We're lulling people into false senses of security.
Yeah, exactly. I was sandbagging today, clearly on purpose.
Well, days ago it was Desert, Ledge, which had Ether, and now it's
yeah.
Island, which has the Fire Rod, and I missed both of those for a very long time, but at least I didn't forfeit out of this one.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Thanks to you all too for restreaming me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, thanks, y'all.
I botched
Yeah.
my redemption, but thanks for having me back on for real, as opposed to for like 15 minutes and then screwing up my console. Which I guess that's my PSA: is if you have a Super NT and you change the bindings on your controller for the hard reset, and then it doesn't save when you back out of that one menu. You have to like go to a different menu to save all of your changes, and that actually saves your bindings. And that's what had happened that time a week and a half ago.
Thank you
People
all for
Club.
thanks for the restream, the tracking,
Yeah.
everything, every part of it. Thank you so much. Appreciate it as
Thanks,
always,
y'all
everybody.
awesome.
Thank you.
Well, thank you to our forerunners, Josh Bittner, Lana Bean, Dr. Airworm, and Forgotten Toupee. If you'd like to put yourself from those runners, go ahead and give them a follow here on Twitch. Also, a special shout out to everyone behind the scenes who's doing all sorts of work. Robs and Sorcerer Finch doing the tracking, and then of course Diesel Pilot, our restreamer, and the person who rolled this wonderful Jetty seed. And of course, one last shout out to my co-commentator, Goron1988. Pleasure working with you today.
Well, same to you. Thank you, Vitasia, for commentating with me today. Again, I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you to the runners. Thank you to the trackers, Robs, Sorcerer Finch. Thank you to Diesel Pilot. Yeah, and well, the runners, Josh Bittner, .do, Lana Bean, Forgotten Dubé. So yeah, make sure to give them a follow and thank you.
I think we're getting ready to send everyone over to Speed Gaming 3, where we have a Super Mario Brothers 3 randomizer weekly race going on. So with that, have a great rest of the weekend, everyone, and we'll see you at the next race.
Yep, see you there. Take care from all of us at Speed Gaming 4.